Hey lemon squeezies, it's Ain't That a Mother. I'm exhausted. I am very tired. As you guys know, Hurricane Isaac just passed through and he's a jerk. I have nothing nice to say about Mr. Isaac at this point. So thank you to everyone who Facebook, tweeted, called, text, offered places to stay. You guys are awesome for that. Steph and Tracy, Starlita, Shaniqua. I had a lot of people who were really there for me, and I really appreciate it. Misha and Mika, Mel and Nessa, all of you guys, I love you all to pieces. Thank you so much for all the love and support. It hasn't been easy. Actually, tomorrow will be exactly 1 week that we were dealing with all of this stuff. So it wasn't easy, and it definitely makes you appreciate the small things. I will say that. So to go ahead and get it out of the way, just so that you guys know, Papa and I did decide to cancel this cycle for several different reasons. But for reasons that I feel were quite responsible at the time. We would have been in-simming either tomorrow or Tuesday. But there's just way too much going on right now. Reason number one, there was no electric in the city. And there's still some places that don't have electric. We just got electric back here at work yesterday night, probably about 7 p.m. And we got electric back at our house about the same time. And then we had electric back at Papa's house the day prior. So today's Sunday, so Saturday is when we got our power back at Papa's mom's house. So we've been hanging out over there. But because we had no electricity, I wasn't going to be able to get my Cycle Day 10 ultrasound. The clinic was still without power at that time. And then they were saying that I could go ahead and order my swim team and have it sent to the clinic. And even though they didn't have power, they would still be able to store it in the liquid nitrogen and keep it safe and all that kind of stuff. But at the same time, if there was no power there, how was there going to be anyone there to receive my swim team? It just, to me, seemed like too expensive of a gamble to take. As you guys know, I pay $7.05 per vial. That's not chump change. And plus another $185 for shipping. I just didn't have that type of money to play with in a situation like this. And then not even so much that, you know, with us being out of work, I wasn't sure if we were going to have flood damage, if I was going to end up being out of work for a certain amount of time. And so the money that I had on me, I felt was better off going towards our immediate needs, such as food and, you know, hotel rooms and all that kind of stuff. And also with rent approaching, today is what, the 3rd, I believe. Let me see. I think today's the 3rd. The 2nd. So rent was technically due yesterday. I have until the 5th. I've already talked to my landlord or whatever, let her know what was going on with us leaving the city or whatever. But it just didn't seem like a good choice to make, to go ahead and invest money in a swim team and all that kind of stuff. Like, what if, you know, they get here and they're safe, but then there's nobody there to receive them and then they die? And I couldn't take that gamble. So I decided to not purchase a swim team this time. And I informed my doctor of that. And, you know, she understands. And we're just going to pick up next cycle, you know, when CD1 gets here. So, also because of Isaac, there was a lot of stress. Papa and I never argue, but we got into a pretty heated argument over whether to even leave the city. You know, I'm the only one that has keys to my job. I couldn't just pick up and leave. She's like, we got to go now. So there was a lot of stress involved. And then, like I said, me not knowing what was going to happen with my job and with money, that was added stress. And then I hadn't been drinking my palm juice, you know, stuff like that. When it happens, you kind of lose track of what's going on in your everyday routine and things like that. So I only had palm juice, I believe, 2 days this cycle. So it just felt like it was a losing battle. The good news, though, about this past cycle is that, yeah, it was my first time taking Clomid. I responded pretty well to it. I didn't have any major, well, I can't say I didn't have any side effects. I'm not sure if I was having hot flashes or not. And the reason why I say that is because our AC went out. So either I was just really hot from the AC going out, or I really was having side effects. What the hell do you want? You guys okay out there?
Yeah.
All right. So Yeah. But other than that, other than me being really hot at night, I didn't have any other side effects. I wasn't like super bitchy or anything like that. So, but yeah, I'm a little disappointed, but at the same time, I would have been more disappointed to have spent and wasted my money. So it just felt like the most responsible thing to do. So just to give you a quick rundown of everything that happened as far as Isaac is concerned, Monday morning is when pretty much I started hearing all the reports of the storm moving in, and it had already passed through Florida, so I had heard something about it over the weekend, but Monday is when it started heading this way, and it was projected to hit Tuesday night about 7 p.m. So everybody at work was really nervous on Monday. We didn't know what was going on. Everybody was trying to decide whether they were going to stay in the city or if they were going to leave. So it was just a lot of commotion going on. So about 6 p.m. on Monday, I got a phone call from my owner telling me to go ahead and shut down the store 2 hours early so that everyone can get out of there and get home safely, or, you know, get to their destination. And I just let him know at that point, like, you know, I'm an extremely responsible person and I don't want to just leave my post, but I do want to let you know that, you know, I'm getting a lot of pressure from my girlfriend and her family to leave the city, and I just want to make you aware of that. I don't deal with hurricanes. I'm not from New Orleans. I grew up in Ohio where we deal with tornadoes. So a tornado, I know how to handle that. But a hurricane, I didn't really know how to handle it. I didn't want to overreact. I kind of felt like it was this huge rumor going around, and I kind of was hesitant to even act on it. But at the same time, your survival instincts kick in, and everyone knows what happened during Katrina. And of course, that was a catastrophe that will probably never happen again. But for someone like myself that's not from here, I was like, you know what, I might want to start making some moves. So I let my owner know what was going on, and he was like, you know, go ahead, do what you have to do, just secure the store, do the best that you can to bunker it down. And they showed up and started boarding up the building. If you're friends with me on Facebook, they came and started boarding up my windows, and they were like, my landlord basically shut the building down. He was like, you know, whether you guys are planning on closing early today or not, by 6 p.m. I want my building boarded up, including all doors and windows, and I want everybody out. So we had no choice but to go. So I told my owner, and he was like, you know, try to at least be back in the city by Thursday morning, so that we can see what's going on and go from there. So I told him I would make it my personal mission to be back by Thursday morning. So we left here at 6 p.m. Papa went home and packed up a bag and grabbed the cats, put them in the cage, grabbed food and, you know, whatever else we needed. And we hit the road with her parents at about 7:30 that night. And we got to Memphis, which is where her brother lived. So we were with family. We got to Memphis at about 3:30 in the morning on Tuesday morning. And we slept in as late as her mother would let us. She definitely rang the alarm and made sure that we got up and didn't just sleep the day away. So when we did get up, we decided to go to the mall, which is something that we hardly ever get to do. Not for lack of money, but time, because I'm a workaholic. I work a lot. 11 hours a day, 6 days a week. So we went to the mall. We kind of walked around, and, you know, she bought me some Bath and Body Works, and I bought a cute pair of sunglasses, and I saw a motherhood maternity store. And I can remember being younger and my mother going when she was pregnant with my younger brothers and sisters, and them having like these maternity pillows that you could put under your clothes to pretty much get an idea of what you're going to look like as your pregnancy progresses, or so that you could try on maternity clothes to see how they're going to fit you and things like that. So I told Papa, I was like, I have to go in there. Like, I have to go. And I kind of paced back and forth in front of the store for a little while before I decided that I was going to go, because, you know, I got a little anxious as I got closer to the store. Needless to say, I manned up, went in, and actually had a really interesting conversation with the lady behind the counter there. And she was just like, you know, things happen for a reason. You know, you sound like if you're leaning towards not going through the cycle, maybe it's best that you just kind of hit pause. And, you know, we just kind of compared stories, and she was saying how she tried for a really long time to get pregnant, and, you know, basically just encouraging me and letting me know that everything was going to be okay. And, you know, fertility is one of those kind of things that just bring women together, period. You know, that's one thing that we all have in common. So it was just really nice to run into someone who understood what I was going through, especially with me being displaced and not being at home and it being right in the middle of my cycle. It was just a lot of stress. And so just to have someone to talk to listen, that understood what I was going through, a complete stranger nonetheless, was very comforting. So I asked her about the maternity pillows, and she told me she did have those and that they were in the fitting room. So Papa and I went into the fitting room and I tried it on, and I had so many different emotions at that moment. I was really nervous. My hands started to sweat. I got really, really happy. I got super excited. It was just a lot of different things. So this is one of the pictures that I took. Excuse Papa, she's crazy. I'm trying to see without the glare. But any of you guys who are friends with me on Facebook, you saw these pictures already. I didn't want to take it off. I really didn't. But we left the mall that day. We went to bed pretty early that night. We went to bed probably about 9 o'clock that night. But before we went to bed, we hung out with the family. And Papa's mom looks at me and she goes, "What are you going to do with the cats when you have your baby?" And I'm like, duh, I'm sorry, what? Like, I'm still not used to the idea of her knowing. And that was the first time she had mentioned anything to me about it. Like, to me directly. Like, she said things to Erica about it, but